very, very useful. Ogre Magi, also having 2 heads, is a very dashing man, if that makes any sense. He he's one of my favorite hero models in the game of Dota. I enjoy the 2 heads. Don't ask me why, and the one always seems kind of dumber than the other. We see a Beastmaster pick coming out from FY. FY picking up their solo mid here, what appears now. Beastmaster is one of my favorite heroes in Dota, period. I love the Hawk, I love the Boar. His ultimate is so useful. His ultimate is really going to be able to bring down, not itself bring down, but it coupled with more nukes, well, you'll be able to bring down whoever he stuns within the allotted time, as it is a pretty long stun, as well as pushes other heroes out and sort of slows them from coming to rescue. Axes are a very good pushing and or anti-pushing skill, as well as an Inner Beast aura is extremely strong in being able to, one thing I feel that is underlooked is helping your team push and or somewhat anti-pushing in terms of it also upgrades your creeps attack speed, meaning that they will, be able to have a little bit of an advantage over the Scourge creeps and push that much faster. I really like the ultimates coming out from the Sentinel right now. I really feel like Lich and Tide, the Ravage paired with the Chain Frost, and if need be, if 2 heroes close enough and Anti-Mage is able to do enough damage with an Anti-Mage ultimate, will really be a lot of good AoE in a team fight. Something that, when I'm going to talk about that Bloodseeker pick very soon, just give me a moment here to take that in really. As we see a Bloodseeker pick, and Bloodseeker is never picked, and I believe for good reason. Bloodseeker requires farm, doesn't scale very well later game in terms of tankiness, as well as his melee. Has some pretty good stayability in lane, unless he goes up against the tri-lane, as Bloodbath really helps him out. However, coupled with the Bloodlust, as well as his silence that he can throw on himself later game, I really feel like that could be something pretty interesting, as that has a good amount of buffs to throw on him. A lot of attack speed coupled with high damage could be really damaging. Then again, I'm really not sure how it's going to fit in with this team. Now, I either feel like they shouldn't have went with the Weaver, or they shouldn't have went with the Bloodseeker. In my mind now, I believe that a Pugna and or Mirana and or Akasha instead of that Weaver would have been a little bit more applicable, but even more applicable, I believe, a Dragon Knight and or Panda Brewmaster should have replaced that just said his name a second ago. Bloodseeker, totally was escaping me. I really feel like that would have been much more applicable, as they have no tankiness. None at all, really. The Night Stalker can get somewhat naturally tanky, but really after that, the Ogre Magi, even though it does have a high strength pool for a support hero, isn't going to be getting any farm. Therefore, when you get into that later stages of the game, the tankiness really is going to become, ineffective. We see a Viper pick coming out. Now, Viper, I think, was a reactionary pick to that Bloodseeker coming out, as well as that Ogre Magi. Now, all of the DPS coming from the Scourge team will be melee DPS. It will be coming out of the Night Stalker, the Weaver, and the Bloodseeker. Something that the Viper does very well naturally against is physical DPS, and especially melee DPS, is that Corrosive Skin slows down that attack speed. If anybody really trying to bring him down, I'm pretty certain you're going to see at least 1 to 2 early levels of Corrosive Skin while he's in lane, especially if he's up against a if he goes up against a Night Stalker, or if he goes up against the Bloodseeker, just because of how well that Corrosive Skin works against it. As well as him really not needing too much farm, in my opinion, as Nether Toxin, and I'm forgetting the other skill, it's the one that looks like a Dota has horrible graphics, really, compared to, I didn't really think this until I started watching Dota 2 or Dota 2 came out. But it looks like he shoots a big old booger at him, pretty much. Is a really good, is pretty decent DPS, especially early to mid game. Not really good, but it's pretty good DPS, especially early to mid game, where you don't really need that farm, where Night Stalker and Bloodseeker really are going to need a little bit of farm to get up some DPS and be a little tanky, where the Viper really doesn't need too much of either. Anything that the Viper gets adds on to his somewhat natural tankiness and his somewhat natural DPS he brings out. We will go ahead and start the game now. If I had to go ahead and pick a team to go ahead and take this game, I am going to go with the Sentinel. I really don't feel that the Scourge mesh really well. I really feel like this is somewhat of bad picking. Like I said, those four that you see to the right I don't feel are bad picks. Ogre Magi's Island of Misfit Dota heroes. But this Bloodseeker isn't ever really picked, and I think we're going to find out why in this game. A Quelling Blade and Stout Shield, not too bad of picks, as the Bloodbath will really help him get that HP back up and give him that lane stay ability. We will see the Crystal Maiden going bottom with this Ogre Magi, as that's where the tri-lane will be. I didn't introduce the heroes, or the players. Let me introduce the players real quick. We have Lucky One, Nutty, Coldfire, Tayshren, and Vilivalo on the Sentinel. Scourge, we see Akka, Sir Smith, Ray C, Longitude, and Cowboy. We'll go and introduce what heroes they are on. Lucky One will be playing the Beastmaster, Nutty on the Tidehunter, Coldfire will be playing Lich, Tayshren on the Viper, Vilivalo on this Anti-Mage. We will see the Weaver being played by Akka, Sir Smith on the Ogre Magi, Crystal Maiden being played by Racy, Longitude on the Night Stalker, and Cowboy on this Bloodseeker. We will see the four Scourge heroes. Now, I don't think looking for anybody, but pretty much escorting this Crystal Maiden to get the Rune Spot and or Vision when coming to gank, as well as knock off this creep pool, as that creep pool is pretty taken out in almost every game you see nowadays. I didn't really see it, personally I didn't really see it, maybe 2 months ago as often, but it's really becoming really a popular move, and a good move, as it really just, enables the lane that is getting the farm to really take advantage. As we see dual lanes coming out.